Hey, 30-06 John here, and today what I want to talk about is bear protection and my thoughts and ideas on it after some recent events. It seems like here in July there's been a lot of bear encounters, a lot in Alaska, where I live, but also a lot in what we call the lower 48. This story here made the headlines worldwide. Happened about a week ago. Bear pulls a woman out of her tent, kills her in Montana. Another story, this happened in May, is this Colorado woman was walking her dogs and she was found dead after she was partially eaten by bears. In Anchorage, this article made the local newspaper. Almost daily, lots of bear sightings at Alaska Botanical Garden. That is in Anchorage. It's there is a lot of woods and bush around there, but they're seeing bears almost daily. This was on July 6, 2021. This story was from one of the local newspapers. Homeowner fatally shoots brown bear sow and cub on Anchorage hillside. The second cub injured but got away. This happened on July 3rd. Anchorage hillside is the sort of the outskirts of Anchorage. There's a lot of woods around there, but that is part of the city. I want to focus on this story because in this story, the bear actually pulls the woman out of her tent and kills her. Plus, it also happened, she was in a small town, which most people would assume that that's a safe area. The State of Alaska Department of Fish and Game website has a pretty good section on dealing and living with bears. Just go to species, living with wildlife, bears. In it, they have a whole section here on living with bears, living in bear country. Responsible handling of bear attractions, which is food. The one section of website talks about bear attractants, which is food. And food is the number one source of attracting bears. And these urban bears, that's what happened in Montana, and the bears we have around Anchorage, they find a lot of food near people. So that brings them in. And especially in the lower 48, the bears aren't hunted, so they start losing their fear of man. And they talk about food and camping do's and don'ts. Plan to keep food and bear separate before you start out, using bear-proof containers. Keep a clean camp. A couple other quick comments. Don't cook smelly foods. Not only do bears react to scents they come upon accidentally, they purposefully use their nose to search for food. Don't sleep where you eat and cook. Let's go back to this story where the bear pulls the woman out of her tent. And let's go over a few points about this story. I don't want to armchair quarterback or say she did a bunch of things wrong or anything like that. I just want to say a few things that I feel that could have helped her live. It says here, the bear had awakened the woman and the two others who were camping near the post office at about 3 a.m. The bear then ran away. So they were near the post office, which is in this town, I believe, it looks like. And then the campers removed their food from their tents, secured it, and then went back to sleep. Well, they're supposed to have a clean camp, and even though they must have thought that since they were in this small town, they didn't have to keep a clean camp. You should always have a clean camp. and they secured it, which I don't know what that means. When they were bicycling and where they would secure their food at. They should have done that first. Then they went back to sleep. Anyone who knows anything about bears is that bears, when they're chased off like this, they come right back. Also, this bear is believed to have entered a chicken coop in town, killing and eating several chickens. So this bear was acclimated to going into a town and getting its food there. That's from, it had no fear of man, had never been hunted. This bear was going to have to be killed sooner or later. They did end up killing this bear. But the real question to me is, how do you deal with bears at night? Well, the problem is, here you are in your tent sleeping, and number one, what you need is some type of warning. One option, and I have used this in the past, is to use some paracord, some bells, and between trees about 2 foot high, get some paracord and attach some of these bells on it. And, if you hear noise, you got an issue. 2 types of bells here. These Coogan's bear bells. They have a Velcro here. You could tighten it up around some cord here. These here are little fishing bells. They have a little alligator clip on it. Just clip it right onto the cord. Not ideal, but it works okay. One thing you won't be using inside your tent will be any type of pepper spray. This is actually for law enforcement spray for use on people, but even regular bear spray, you're not going to be spraying that inside your tent. Other options besides hanging string and these bells is an electric fence. Also, there are different types of electronic alarms that have trip cords. Pull the cord and pulls a pin and makes a siren sound. I've actually used those in the past also. They're a little bit more hassle to set up, but they work good. Now, what do you need inside your tent? Now, the first thing I always have inside a tent anymore is a small light that I leave on all night. Sort of like a night light. But the last thing you want to be doing is at night when everything is pitch dark is trying to fumble and find something. So I always have a light on, and it makes a big difference. I'm going to turn some of the lights on here. So let me turn the last light off. That's the inside of your tent at night with this light on. This is the inside of your tent with this light off. Now, in an emergency, what do you think is going to be better? Or if you wake up, which one do you think is going to be better? I always have a light on in my tent. If you don't like the direct light, then shine it away so it sort of backlights part of the tent. Makes a big difference. So besides this light, what else do you need? Well, good thing for bear encounters is to make noise. And in the middle of the night, you may not be very able to yell as much as you want. And what we're talking about is yelling, not screaming, but yelling, cussing. A good alternative is one of these little air horns. These are pretty common. This one here costs about $10. Just grab it and press the button, and you got a lot of noise. This will probably scare a bear away pretty fast. So that's good to have right next to your light, so that at night you can find that really fast. Of course, open out of the package. Another good thing to have is a flashlight. Light is your friend. And of course, in today's LED flashlights, you can get very powerful flashlights fairly inexpensively. This is a Duracell flashlight, 2,500 lumens. It will light things up at night. It's adjustable to a focus or a wide beam. I suggest using a wide beam because you want to find the problem fast. The problem isn't going to be a focus 100 yards away. It's going to be next to your tent or in your tent. So these flashlights are pretty good. This is sort of a big flashlight, but you can get smaller ones. This is 2,500 lumens. Another alternative, this is just like a Surefire flashlight. It's only 200 lumens, but it's pretty good. Also, you might notice that some things, this is wrapped with red tape. This lantern is yellow. This flashlight only has gold bands on it, but I don't want to be trying to find something that's dark colored, so all my flashlights are wrapped with a bright color tape or they are bright colored. Well, the next question is, what type of firearm? Well, the best firearm is the one that you have on you, but if you have a choice of taking different ones, this is one area where the modern automatic pistols, where you can mount a light on it, have a distinct advantage over the older revolvers and that don't have a built-in Picatinny rail for a light, so you could easily mount a weapons-mounted light on here. And works pretty good. Just press the button on it. If you have to shoot at night, it's nice to have a light. Just leave it on. You don't have that option with, of course, the revolver. There are techniques of using a flashlight with a revolver. A couple of techniques for using a flashlight with a revolver. Let me make sure this is empty. One of them is what they call the cigar technique. Just hold it like this. You sort of have to turn it on before, then hold it like this. It works out okay. And heavy recoiling guns might be a problem. Close bear encounter, not so much. Also, you got the Harry's technique. You hold it like that. But to be honest with you, the weapons mounted light really makes that really nice. Where you just press the button, the light's on. And at nighttime in your tent, you have to draw your weapon fast. This is sort of a nice option. This light is sort of a cheap Improtech, I believe it is. It's 230 lumen. For inside a tent, 20 feet or so, it works fine. One thing I do want to caution everyone about using a firearm inside your tent. Of course, if a bear is on you inside your tent, you use it. But if you just start shooting, you could easily hit other people next tent over. Where this bear attack took place was actually in a small town. You don't want to, try to avoid a bear attack, but then accidentally hurt or kill someone else. Now, for long guns, if you need a weapons light on your long gun in emergency. Us Alaskans are fond of our duct tape. Just get a strip of duct tape. Grab a light that's sort of cigar shaped. Figure out the best place to mount it on there. Instant weapon light. Need to shoot. Got a light. Works in emergency. I've used it in the past. I hope everyone enjoyed this little talk about bear protection. If you enjoyed this type of content, please hit subscribe and the like button. I appreciate everyone watching. Thanks. Everyone stay safe. Have a nice day.